Hi, my name is Noah Siever. My pronouns are he, him, his, or they, them, theirs. I am a student in CM Hall's LGBTQ studies class, and this is my video presentation. Gabby Boyle is an alumni of Western Oregon University. I actually knew Gabby before she talked to this class. The first time I met her was my senior year of high school when she gave me a tour of Western Oregon. Gabby talked to our class about correct terms and correct pronouns and what to do and how to respect someone's pronouns. She also showed us the gender unicorn coloring page. At the time, I really enjoyed this because it gave me an easy way to express how I was feeling about my own gender identity that I was questioning. Empathy versus Sympathy by Breanne Brown. A resource that was really helpful to me was this video by Breanne Brown. This video has helped me strengthen many relationships and friendships. I am more open and understanding of how to empathize with someone. And the phrase, "I don't know what to say, but I'm really glad you told me," means so much to me because when I confide into someone, most of the time, I just want to know that I'm being heard and that my feelings are validated. I honestly believe I will never forget this resource. The coming out monologues was a really great experience for me. I had so many people come up to me and say how brave I am for doing something like this my freshman year. And it was truly nerve wracking and an outer body experience giving my own coming out story. But after the event and hearing people share their experiences and their stories, I found a comfort in the school that I didn't know was there before. Knowing that Western is a safe place to share and to express how you feel makes me feel more comfortable to go to school here. AJ Granda is a deaf, blind, queer woman who lives in Seattle. She's also poly. Meeting AJ was honestly a life-changing event because as an interpreting major, I always questioned whether or not I want to do interpreting and what kind of interpreting I want to do. And talking with her and her skilled group of interpreters, I now know that I want to be a deaf-blind interpreter. How the Deaf and Queer Community Are Tackling Oppression Together by Alex Liu. Reading this article meant a lot to me, and I think it is so important and should be used again next term. Because as someone who loves the deaf community, I can relate to it even more now. There are a lot of parallels with the deaf community and the queer community. For example, queer people are raised by straight parents most of the time, and deaf people are mostly raised by hearing parents. It is not uncommon for both parents from both groups to not be able to understand the oppression we face every day. Deaf people face more oppression than queer people with issues such as not being able to gain access to a language and not being able to communicate. But being queer, I can empathize with a deaf person and respect what they have been through, and together we can tackle the oppression. Drag show in its space. For all winter term and a few weeks of spring term, I was a drag queen named Maxine, and my best friend was a drag king named Noah. On this slide is a Polaroid of us together. I am the taller one, and he's the really short one. Granted, I was wearing high heels, but I'm still taller than him. Drag show was a really interesting experience for me. During this time, I was strictly using they, them pronouns, and people were validating my gender and were respecting me and used the correct pronouns, which felt great. But after a while, performing in drag and being on stage made me realize that I am actually a boy and I don't really mind he, him, his pronouns. I will never forget my drag show experience, and I'm excited to do it again. Love is Love by IDW Publishing. You might have noticed in my last slide that my Polaroid was on a copy of this book. Love is Love is a comic book written to pay respect to the victims of the Pulse nightclub shooting. All proceeds go towards helping people affected by this terrible, tragic event. The artwork in this book is beautiful and heartbreaking. I cried multiple times while reading it. I would suggest anyone to buy this book on Amazon or at your local comic book because it goes to a great cause and it is only $10. Perfume Genius is a queer artist that I wrote about when given the assignment. Queer punk is an uncommon and unique genre of music. It is also my favorite genre of music because it gives me a way to express myself. And that's why this solo artist from Seattle means so much to me. What exactly is intersectionality? By Stephanie D. Johnson. Stephanie is a deaf-blind pan-queer community educator, and they explain intersectionality so well. Thanks to them, I have a better understanding of the word. I now don't just look at myself as a queer person, but also as someone who is disabled, who is hearing, who is a dog parent, and so many more identities. Thanks to Stephanie, I understand that I can't just focus on one identity because if I do, my other identities and my other communities will all fall apart. I need to look at the whole. Jessica Payette Fierce Dyke. When people hear the word dyke, they often think of something negative about the word, and it is the same with queer, which is why coming out to some people is harder than others. Meeting Jessica really validated my own identity. The lines from her article, I came out as a lesbian in my late 20s, no one was shocked except for me, really resonated with me because a lot of the time, especially with myself, coming out to yourself is the hardest part of the process. I remember writing my reflection about their Las Vegas wedding, and this really meant a lot to me because I could tell that her relationship with her husband, Lauren, a trans man, is a unique and spontaneous one, which is something I hope we all achieve. Thank you for a wonderful class, CM. I'll see you in your deaf blind interpreting class.